I want to talk about something that was very important. I I knew I wanted to be a content creator since 2025, since the beginning of 2025, because I spent 3 months in 2024, like the last 3 months of 2024, healing myself, recovered myself from being manipulated, being like, I just figured out many things about the people around me, and I felt really heartbroken, really disappointed. I felt like everything was a lie, and I had no idea which direction I'm gonna go. So what I did was I I started to heal myself. I meditate every single day, every single night. I read many books, a lot of self-help books, because I was really trying to get somewhere. And I was really lost. I had no idea what to do. And so after being with myself for a couple months, in the beginning of October, I decided to start content creation. I felt like I was doing so good, but the thing is, I didn't know how to create at the time, but I was kind of trying to figure it out. I gave it a try. I tried different ways. I do this instead of that. I did a lot of mistakes, but what I did was I was very consistent. I showed up, and I start to see the momentum on online, because I post every day, so people see me every day. I got lots of views, not a lot, but like I got consistent views. I got likes on every video. That's crazy. On every video as a beginner, I got likes on all of them. So I was like really wanted to do this right. And I didn't know where I'm going with this, but I'm going to do it. But then something happened. Life happened. As a content creator without money, at one point life will pull me out of this direction. I had to get a job. I had to get a job to survive, to just survive. And at that time I was like, I only need the bare minimum. I didn't want to work for someone. Can I do something that require my bare minimum, require my effort? Yes, but I don't need a lot of money, and I don't want to put a lot of time, because I want to have more time to do my content, to follow my path. But it was impossible, and what happened was I was being forced to stop content creation because I didn't have the time or the energy to. The job I was working at the time was very energy consuming. I interact with 20 to 30 people every single day. I had to be on my feet at all time. I had to be ready at all time. My position was like a front desk manager. Like, I fix all the problems. I manage everyone in the shop. I manage the schedule. I manage every single thing about the shop. I buy new supplies. I contact the customer. I pick up the phone call. I take walk it. I do everything, right? It doesn't seem like a lot of work, because the more I do it, the more I become efficient, and everything starts to flow. But little did I know, my mental health was starting to get bad. Not by the job, by the people. I'm not talking about toxic environment in this video, but I'm just gonna say a little bit about that, because trying to survive, I forced myself to be in toxic environment, because that was the only choice. Because I wanted to pursue my path, so I don't want to get another job that requires more effort of me, require more time of me, because I will not have enough energy back left for my work. So with this job, I already function everything. I'm really good at everything. I can do everything, without looking. Like, I built the system for it, and everything runs so well for me. And so for me, that was like, I put a little effort into that, each day. And so I have more energy to do my path. But The job wasn't the problem. The money wasn't the problem. It started to change when I noticed that I was being manipulated by one of the staff at the shop. I pour my heart out for this person. I trust him with everything. I allow him to use my car once. I allow him to take a camera when he went abroad because he wanted to film, he wanted to take some nice pictures, so I gave it to him. I trust him with everything, I found out that I was being manipulated by him. And that's when my energy was stepping out of that place, but my body was still there. So continue living like that just because I want to make money, so to just survive, put me in a survival mode. And this is the topic of today, I was in a fight or flight all the time because the person I used to trust, I couldn't trust them anymore. Even with them, I still need to put up my guard and be on a fight or flight mode. So I put my guard up with everyone else because I had no idea who I can trust and how I'm going to just go through the day. And being in survival mode and put up the fight or flight mode at all time, plus working in a toxic environment with toxic people, was really bad for me. Really, really bad. I noticed that I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to go to work. I never had that feeling about this job because I loved it. It pays, and I built the system myself, so I really like it, and it brings me joy because I organize everything the way I want, right? But when I start working with other people who doesn't want to be in the system, who doesn't want to follow, the system that me and my friend planned, it makes things difficult. It makes the business run not as smoothly as it's supposed to be. And so for me, it was really difficult. Like, I know what to do to get from here to there. You know what to do to get from here to there, but you don't want to do it, and you keep disrupting this path that everyone else is going. You understand what I mean? It's something like that. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? You have so much ego, so much pride over your head that you couldn't even see what the big picture here of this business. We all want to grow, but if you keep doing this, no one will go anywhere, right? So we're not going to talk about that. But I was living with the people like that. I started to notice that I stopped creating. I started to eat a lot late at night. I started to struggle to get some sleep at night. I sleep very late. I wake up very late. I used to have a morning routine where I start my day very slowly. I woke up at 5. I meditate 10 minutes. I stretch 10 minutes. I do some small workout like Pilates or yoga for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I make some hot tea, and then I sip it slowly while I'm looking outside the window. Those are my routine that kept my nervous system feel safe. But being in that survival mode situation crushed everything. Talking about it now, I feel tight in my throat. I feel like I still remember, that feeling. It was a nightmare. I had no idea how to get out of it. I felt like I was back in the end of 2024 all over again. Not knowing what to do, ended up in survival mode. My nervous system was becoming unstabilized, and I got attacked, not physical but mentally, all the time. They would say something, they would react a certain way. There's one time I was being talked at and being blamed for their mistakes, but because as a front desk manager, I had to report to the owner, and so they made some mistakes, right? And they were like, you don't even know what you're saying, blah blah blah. And I was like, if you're so angry, go talk to the boss. Why are you talking to me? I'm just doing my job, right? I was very cool and calm at that moment, but my nervous system couldn't handle that. At the end of that day, I broke down. Like, I had a mental breakdown. I had to step out of the shop because I couldn't stop crying. As I'm telling this story right now, I can still feel that moment. But I know that it's necessary to share this story because it's a real struggle that a lot of people are facing and not knowing how to deal with it or get out of it. So those are the type of survival mode that I was in. I had to be on guard, always on fight or flight mode all the time. We're not built for that. We're not built to be on guard. We're not built to be on fight or flight mode all the time. We're not built to be in survival mode. But we force ourselves to be in there because we need money. We need support, right? I thought so. And I was like that for years until the end of 2025. I was done waiting to make money. I was done. I decided to stop working and I figured out what to do. I came home. I came back to my hometown. It's a small city, but that's what I need at the time. I wasn't looking about getting a job here, but I needed to recover. I needed to heal I needed to stabilize my nervous system and be ready to get back out in the world again, And I had no idea how to do that when I was still working in that toxic environment, in the survival mode where everyone is toxic, and I was unable to create. I was unable to simply live. Simply just living life becomes so difficult. I create naturally from a raw and honest truth. When something pop up in my head, I start to talk about that. I never script, I never do anything, right? But when I feel safe enough in here, when I feel calm enough in myself, in my inner world is stabilized, my creativity will flow like a flood. In one day, I could create 2 to 3 videos minimum. Oh, actually, maximum is only 3, but minimum would be 2 videos. And that happens naturally when I feel safe, my nervous system stabilized. But I knew something was wrong when I stopped creating. I stopped carrying the positive mindset. Everything was becoming so hard to stay who I was or to become who I want to be. It was way too hard to force meditation, way too hard to force productivity, to get up in the morning and work out. But I did that because I hit rock bottom many times during this job, working with these people. I hit my nervous system shut down, become destabilized, and then I put myself up again. I decided to go for a walk every day. I decided to slowly come back to read. I slowly work out every day. I wake up early in the morning, go to the gym, and go to the gym after work. Like, I work really hard and I eat really good food. But I think I was pushing way too hard because I got injured in my lower back. And living in those environments in survival mode and trying to survive by being so productive in my own way, it was like 2 things fighting against each other, but trying to go in the same direction, trying to coexist. When I got injured in my lower back, that was when everything went to hell. I was back in survival mode with no activities that could keep me sane. Nothing. I couldn't work out. The only thing that would rise up my mood right away, I couldn't do that. I couldn't sit up to meditate because the back hurts really bad. I did lay down meditate instead, but it wasn't the vibe anymore. It was like I already tried, I already tried to survive from this. I already tried to get away from this. And then with this injury, it pulls me right back into survival mode. And I cannot deal with that anymore. It started to get worse. I started to have a mental breakdown every week at work. Like 2 hours before we close, I always have a mental breakdown every week, every single week. The owner started to saw me like that, and he was always there listening if I'm not okay, right? So when I told him, when he saw me like that and it become more often, he was like, I think maybe it's best if you go home. If you don't want to work, I think it's best if you go home. And I was like, I don't want to go home because that would mean that I'm giving up. I'm pursuing my path, on following my dreams or something like that. But then I changed my mindset and I noticed that coming back to my hometown is not me giving up. It's not me walking back into the river I once walked past. Is that the way? Is that how to say it? It's not me giving up. It's actually me needing a place to ground myself, and no place on earth could ground me better than my home. The house I grew up, the house I grew up on. No place on earth. Even though it's a small city, I'm not ashamed. That is my grounding place. If one day I go out in the world again and I need grounding, I'm going to come back home. The place where I feel the most safest, the place where I feel the most safe, the place that I could be myself unapologetically, the place where I have all the supports and I have acceptance from everyone. Of course, my family member still expects me to be like this, like that, like those, but the fact that I came home after 5 years of living somewhere else, they opened their arms and welcomed me back without asking any questions, right? And I don't want to, and I'm glad that they didn't ask any question, because I would definitely have another mental breakdown if they asked me during that time. So what I did was I decided to step out of that survival mode. I am done with toxic environment. I am done with trying to survive, sacrificing my mental health and my creativity and my dream. More important, I sacrificed my dream to work for someone else and ended up destroying my own nervous system, living in survival mode. I was done doing that. I didn't see a way out, but I didn't quit. I didn't quit from survival mode. I didn't step out of that life because it happened to me one time. I pushed through. I was working there for 10 months. 10 months. Things started to go wrong things started to go wrong after 7 months. Yeah. And the last 3 months has been like hell to me. Nothing bad towards the owner, he's amazing, but the rest, I couldn't. Even the customers are way nicer than the people I'm working with. I was enjoying my job because the customers were really nice, and because I'm nice to them, I give them the service, and they're nice back, and so that's just how it works. But with other people, they just don't understand this simple manner, the basic manners that everybody is supposed to have. Anyway, so it was a big step, stepping out of survival mode. It was scary. One, because I had no idea what I'm going to do with my life. I speak English. I'm Thai 100%, but I can speak fluently in English. Maybe not that perfect, but really good enough. I could maybe teach some Thai people how I learn my English and help them communicate and things like that. That was the first thought. That's the only thought. I moved everything back home. I sent everything to the express truck, and they bring everything, the moving truck, they bring everything home. I told my mom, I'm going home next month. I'm bringing everything home. I'm going to stay home now. I'm tired of things like that. So she didn't really ask question, but I was at home doing nothing for 2 months straight. I couldn't do anything. It's like I was always on, 24/7. I was always on, and I couldn't do anything else except take as much rest as possible. It's like my body just didn't get enough sleep. I couldn't sleep early. I couldn't wake up early. Every time I sleep, I was really exhausted. I eat a lot. It was still in the first beginning stage of processing that we are safe now. I am safe now, and I'm not in that fight or flight mode anymore. I don't have to be on all the time, but my body doesn't register that. Like my brain was still on fight or flight mode, and so my whole body would tense up, when I was in that survival mode. And even when I got home, I would feel the tension on my neck. I would feel the tension on my body when something happened. I like the first signal I got is my body. Before my mind could even process what's going on, I felt unsafe. Even when I came back home, I was struggling to just understand that we are safe now. But there are another thing that is not safe, which is, what am I gonna do next? What about money? What am I gonna do? But I put that aside and I focus on recover first. And this is what I do. If you are on survival mode as well, the first thing that you did when you started to recover, step away from that. First step is to step away from that. You will figure it out. If your mental health is being crumbled, is being destroyed by the environment, the work, or people, it's not worth anything. You will find something. I promise you will find something. As soon as you recover and you feel safe, you will have a clear head and you will see what you want in life. So what I did was, the first thing, I step away from that. As scary as it was, I step away anyway, because nothing was more important than my mental health. I step away and I let myself rest. I was feeling guilty for the past 2 months because I did nothing, and my mom was expecting me to get up and do something. I slowly did something, but most of the time I do nothing. I let myself rest because here's the thing. The body was always on fight or flight mode, and it's always on 24/7. It doesn't understand the off switch. You need to show the off switch. You need to let your body understand that you switch it off. The body can switch it off. The body can rest now. And it doesn't know how to do that unless you let it rest as much as you need. If it's going to take you 2 weeks straight to be in bed, get out of bed, drink some water, eat some lunch, and then go back to bed and do nothing and watch YouTube or movies just to numb your mind, just to find something to occupy your mind. Do that, because if you force yourself to be productive, if you force yourself to get up and do something when your body is still used to the fight or flight mode, you will not recover. I know you will feel guilty. For someone who's been in survival mode and has been trying to survive for years, letting yourself rest for, 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight can feel like you're becoming lazy. You need to get up and do something, but that is the survival mode instinct. The fact that you need to get up and do something, put work, put effort into doing something when your body needs something opposite completely. When you do that to your body without let it rest, without listening to the body, you actually put yourself in a fight or flight mode. That means you will not recover. So you need to let it rest, as much as it needs. Don't try to occupy your mind by thinking about what you're doing next, how you're gonna recover, about other people. No, you is the priority. When you try to recover from survival mode, you are the priority. Think of yourself first. Everybody else will understand. If they don't understand, that's fine. But when you recover and you come out and you start to have a little bit more inspiration, a little bit more energy to step out and talk to your family, or step out and start to go out again, or start to explore the world again, or maybe decide to go for a walk in the morning or evening just to move your body, you will slowly gain the mental clarity. But yeah, the first important is to rest. I don't care who say anything else. Well, I'm not going to say that, but there's no way you can recover while thinking all the time about what you're going to do. Am I staying in bed too much? This is something that will come out. This is something that will naturally happen if you have been someone who's trying to survive in survival mode all those years. You will feel guilty of not doing anything. You will feel guilty of doing nothing and relying on your family. You will feel guilty that you don't have the money, you don't have a job, you don't have the money to help your family or even help yourself. You will feel guilty that staying in bed is wrong. You need to get up and do something. But that's not true. Listen to what you need. Not here. Here. You will know what you need when you listen to your body. If it was still tense, if it was still unable to relax, if it was still shaking, then you need more rest. Until you stop shaking, until you stop thinking about what else I'm going to do, until you stop thinking in a survival mode way of, I need to do something, I need to rush, I need to get up, I need to be productive. When your body wants the opposite, you are still in survival mode. So you need to listen to yourself more, and you will see the difference. When you start to recover, you will slowly see that I'm starting to feel better. When you step outside of the house, you don't feel shaking anymore when you see other people. You don't feel tense when you see other people. You start to relax and be yourself. That is also a sign.